Welcome back to German with John Berlin. And in today's lesson, we'll be learning how to use the verbs we have learned in the previous lesson. So previously, we learned how to identify the verbs with the help of cases, nominative, accusative, dative, depending on the question, what a verb requires. Yes? So with that done, today we'll be seeing how to conjugate the verb. What is the meaning of conjugation? Just like in English, we say, I have, he has. Yes? So basically the verb have changes to has depending upon if it's being used in first person, second person, or third person. Yes. In German as well, the same rule applies. So we'll use the first, second, third person, singular and plural of nominative, since nominative is the person who's doing the action and the verb is always used with the person who's doing the action. So here is the list of our personal pronoun, which is right in front of you. Ich, du, er, sie, es, wir, ihr, sie, sie, which means, like we learned, I, you, he, she, it, we, you all, they, and we have an extra pronoun for du, formal, which is sie, and it looks the same like third person plural, just with a capital S. Yes? So with that done, let's pick up a verb to practice how to conjugate the German verbs, and we'll pick up a regular verb, machen. Machen means to do or to make something. And the way we conjugate this verb is pretty easy. We just need to learn that we need to identify the verb and then basically add the endings, which I have written here in front of you. So the verb by default is written in its original form. The original form is known as infinitive form. Yes, so this is the infinitive form of the verb, like all verbs are written in the basic form. Yes, and then I need you to remove the en, which is what I have highlighted here, and replace the en with the endings as follows. For example, if you want to say I do or I make, if you want to say I make, you'll say ich mache. You removed the en, you added a e. Ich mache, du machst. Remove the en, added a st. Sie es macht. Remove the en, added a t. Then for wir, you'll repeat the infinitive form. I've just written a dash. Machen, wir machen. Ihr macht. Remove the en, add a t. You all make. Sie machen, they make. And big Z, machen, you make, formal. Yes, so I make, you make, he, she, it makes, we make, you all make, they make. Yes, ich mache, du machst, er, sie, es macht, wir machen, ihr macht, sie, sie machen. This is the way you can conjugate any German verb. But then of course there are certain more little rules we need to learn. Let's get started and learn those rules. Now, in certain verbs in German, you'll see that basically the stem of the verb changes. Yes, what do I mean by the stem of the verb changing? For example, the verb is haben, that means to have something. Now, according to the rule we follow, we'll remove the en, add the t. So we'll do ich habe, and then we'll do du. It should have been habst, but I have written hast. Yes, I did not use be. So that's what I meant. Sometimes certain verbs, their stem changes. Yes, this is what you call the stem before the en. It changes. I omitted the be. And if that happens, it'll only be applicable to the second and third person singular. Yes, this is only where the be is missing. That means du hast, er, sie, es hat. Then after that, we'll get back to the basics and it'll be wir haben, repeating the infinitive form. Ihr habt, we again bring back the be. Yes, remove the en, add the t. Habt, sie, sie haben. Perfect. So all the future German verbs, if the stem changes, it'll only be applicable to the second and the third position, singular. For all the others, it'll remain the same. Yes. Okay, let's move forward. Arbeiten. This is the verb to work. Now, if you want to say I work, you work, he, she, it works, we work, they work, you all work, they work. You'll need to follow this conjugation, and let's see how it looks. Ich arbeite. Yes, I work. Du arbeitest. Now here we needed to add an extra E, because if we write arbeitst, it sounds a little odd. So just to make it perfect, we say arbeitest. Yes. Similarly, we'll say sie arbeitet. Why do we say arbeitet? Because if we simply remove the en and add the t, it'll look like this, arbeit. It doesn't really makes any difference. So we say arbeitet. Perfect. All right, moving forward. That was my little dog actually. It's called Berlin. Yes. All right, moving forward, we have the verb here, arbeiten. That's the infinitive form. Arbeitet once again looks the same. Sie, sie, arbeiten. Perfect. So that was the verb to work. Moving forward, let's look at some other verbs. Sprechen. Now before we come to this verb, we learn another little rule. Whenever a verb has E, yes, we'll see that the verb